lot of questions have been raised on Article 370, 35A, autonomy of J&K and so on. Let me say that special provisions for different states are present in our constitution. Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Jammu and Kashmir, these are all states which have special provisions. So providing special provisions for a particular state is not unique to J&K in our constitution. Secondly, there is a history to these special provisions, and this history to the special provisions go back to Maharaja Hari Singh's time in the 1920s and 1930s, when Maharaja Hari Singh wanted to protect his state subjects from people who were coming from outside the state. So the restrictions were put on employment, for example. Restrictions were put on the owning of land, the buying of property. So these things got continued. So it's wrong to say that this came after independence. They actually reflect the policies that were followed by Maharaja Hari Singh at his time, and Maharaja Hari Singh was actually protecting his subjects, and that philosophy then got continued in the Constituent Assembly in Article 370. And by the way, Article 370 enjoyed the full support of Dr. Ambedkar, the architect of our Constitution, Sardar Patel, India's first Home Minister and a major contributor to our Constitution as well. So it's Article 370, 35A were not the whims and fancies of one individual, but they reflected the historical and political circumstances under which J&K became part of the Indian Union. Remember, J&K became part, the Maharaja was not willing to accede. He signed a standstill agreement. The Maharaja of Kashmir, a Hindu Maharaja, was dilly-dallying in his mind whether to remain independent, whether to join Pakistan, or to whether to join India. And it was Sheikh Abdullah who said, no, J&K must be part of the Indian Union because India is a secular country. He wanted to join the India of Gandhi. He wanted to join the India of Nehru. He wanted to join the India of Tagore, the India of Patel, the India of Ambedkar. He didn't want to join the Pakistan of Jinnah. It was the Maharaja of Kashmir who was dilly-dallying. He couldn't make up his mind on the 15th of August 1947 whether he should go with Pakistan, whether he should remain independent, or whether he should come to India. In fact, his Prime Minister Ramchandra Kak was advising him to go to Pakistan. So under these circumstances, it was Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah who said the future of Kashmir lies in a secular framework, and that secular framework is India, and that's how Kashmir became part of the Indian Union. There were many people in India who were arguing, saying, let Kashmir go to Pakistan, because Junagadh, which had a Hindu majority, came to India. Hyderabad, which had a Hindu majority, came to India. So people were arguing, there was a certain argument, but this was not accepted by Gandhi, it was not accepted by Nehru, it was not accepted by Patel, and most importantly, it was not accepted by Sheikh Abdullah. It was Sheikh Abdullah who said, we must be with secular India, we must be with Gandhi's India. Maharaja Hari Singh never said this. It is Sheikh Abdullah who said this. And that's the historical context in which Kashmir became part of the Indian Union, subject to certain safeguards, to autonomy of J&K, because J&K came under certain peculiar political and historical circumstances. So I think one must understand the background, the history of Article 370 and 35A. Jammu and Kashmir is part of India. People of Jammu and Kashmir are Indian citizens. There is a constitution of India. There is also in 1956 a constitution of Jammu and Kashmir. So there is a certain historical background that has taken place. And when the PDP and the BJP had an alliance 3 years ago, this alliance actually recognized these political and historical realities. But of course, this alliance got broken for certain reasons, and then the BJP went back to its old position. The Congress has been very consistent in saying that the people of Jammu and Kashmir are Indian citizens. Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of the Indian Union. It is part of secular India, and they deserve every constitutional provision as is available to all other citizens, subject of course to Article 370 and 35A.